Review session for marginal utility. The three definitions you have to get down are utility, total utility, and marginal utility. So remember that utility is satisfaction for a consumer. Total utility is the total satisfaction consumer gets from consuming a good. And marginal utility, the key word there is extra. So it's the extra satisfaction that a person gets from consuming one additional unit of good. Okay, the graph. The data isn't as important to look at as the top and bottom graph. So the top graph represents the total utility for each additional good that is consumed, but the bottom graph is representing the extra satisfaction you're getting from each good. So it's downward sloping because with each additional good you consume, you are going to get less and less extra satisfaction. When marginal utility crosses the x-axis, it'll be at 0. Total utility is going to be at its max. So if you think about taking the first bite of a hamburger when you're really hungry, you're going to get the most extra satisfaction. Each bite is going to satisfy you more and more, but it's not going to be as great as that first bite. Once you hit the maximum, so point to that with your pen on the top graph, once you hit that maximum, there's no more extra satisfaction being gained by consuming. So this is when you get really full and all of a sudden you start feeling sick as you consume more and more bites. So when total utility is at its max, then marginal utility is crossing the x-axis because it's 0. This then, with number 5, this supports the law of demand because, as we stated in the previous review session, as prices go down, then you're going to be willing to consume more goods because the extra satisfaction you're getting for them is actually less. I believe question number 6 asks to define the law of diminishing marginal utility. We did that in an earlier review session. Again, it is the idea that each additional unit you consume, you get less and less extra satisfaction. Number 7, how is this different than the law of diminishing marginal product? I'm tying in a chapter that we did later on in the year after this one. Diminishing marginal product, so the word product is very important. They're talking about in the resource market. So that's the idea that with each additional input or resource you place in the production of a good, the less production you're getting for that each additional unit. So the idea that at first it's great to add a second, third, fourth worker, but eventually the room gets too crowded and you get less and less of that product. So how is it different? Well, marginal product deals with the supply side. That's what I would write down. Marginal product deals with the supply. Marginal utility deals with demand. Then we have the utility maximizing rule. So you want to get the definition down. You probably will never have to really write it out, and the wording's kind of, very economic. It's the concept that's really important. So the definition is to maximize satisfaction, consumers should, and here it goes, allocate money or income so the last dollar spent on each product yields the same amount of extra utility or marginal utility. So basically it's just this equation, MU of A, or we say MUX over price X, or MUB over price B. Those two ratios have to equal each other for you to have optimal utility maximization. Be familiar with the equation, make sure that you memorize it and that you know how to use it. That's all you have for the notes part of this review session. Go through, do the practice problems. I give you the answer key in the packet. The only one I do want to go over is part of it says number 2, but it is the first free response question that you're getting. I am going to go over part of that with you. Remember our utility maximizing rule. It's simply that equation. And in this question number 2, it says to define marginal utility, the extra satisfaction. You should be okay there. They then give you a set of data. You should then be able to set up the equation, which I've done here. The MU of fudge is 12 over the price is 2 equals 20 over 4. We know that's 6 to 5. 6 does not equal 5. So you then have to decide, well, what am I going to buy more or less of? to get that ratio to equal each other. It is not what you initially assume. You want to say at first glance, oh, less of 6, more 5, but that's not the case. You have to think about this. The 12 has to come down and the 5 has to go up. The way we get to that is by thinking, what does the rule say for increasing and decreasing marginal utility? Well, if you want to lower marginal utility, you have to buy more of it. Look at the graph. MU goes down if you buy more good. So you buy more of the fudge to make the MU lower.